Welcome back to another episode of 40 Facts About the 40k Universe. I am your host, Gershwan, and today we're going to be talking about the Inquisition as we get into the lore of Inquisitor Torquemada Coteaz. Coteaz? I hope I chose the right pronunciation. There was a couple online. I just hope I chose the right one. If not, correct me down in the comment section below. If you guys have suggestions for other topics, also comment down below. Let me know what they are. And if you enjoy our content, consider supporting us by picking up an objective marker. Link in the description below. But I hope you guys enjoy. Let's get into 40 facts on Inquisitor Torquemada Coteaz. Within the Inquisition, there exists a large subdivision called the Ordo Malleus. These are the servants of the throne that are tasked with protecting the Imperium of Man from the demon legions of chaos in all of their forms. The brave Inquisitors that seek out humanity's most bizarre and otherworldly threats are known as demon hunters, and no demon hunter is more notorious than the famed Inquisitor Torquemada Coteaz. As far as records show, Coteaz has been a Puritan since he received his inquisitorial rosette. This means that the Inquisitor has always refused the notion of using the hellish powers of the warp, even if it's in the service of the Imperium of Man. An unusual stance for a demon hunter that battles chaos entities that are often immune to the conventional Imperial weaponry. This Inquisitor's fervor for Puritan tenets were self-imposed. Even his mentor, Inquisitor Lord Loredian, who Coteaz learned so much from, never believed in the Puritan ideology, and was critical of Coteaz's persecution of other Inquisitors with opposing viewpoints. Coteaz would simply point out all of the radical factions that were created because of the vile act of using the weapons of the archenemy. Coteaz would go on to demonstrate how serious he was about keeping his fellow demon hunters in line during one of the inquisitorial conclaves on the planet of Varoth. Coteaz's mentor, Inquisitor Lord Loredian, presented a warp-tainted crystal which he said had the potential to be a useful item to track and root out other tainted items if it could be harnessed in the name of mankind, and he pleaded for the Ordo to study the artifact. As Loredian finished his plea, Coteaz stood up and brought down his demon hammer on the crystal, completely shattering it while leveling an accusation of extremis diabolis against his former teacher. He denounced him as a blasphemer and trafficker with abominations. The conclave erupted and castigated Coteaz for his disrespect of proper protocols, but the unfazed Coteaz merely produced a small hourglass and stated he would prove his accusation in only the time necessary for the small device to empty. Coteaz then proceeded to bring to light multiple accusations where Loredian had used demon host and warp magic in order to fight the enemy. Coteaz ended his demonstration of guilt by executing the old heretic himself on the spot. This divisive act, combined with his absolute refusal to use anything ever touched by the archenemy, ensured that Coteaz was promoted to fill the place of the man he had just executed in front of the shocked council. Upon his ascension to Lord Inquisitor, Coteaz also assumed the responsibility as protector of the Formosa sector. Through alliance, coercion, and outright intimidation, Coteaz formed a spy network of contacts, henchmen, and infiltrators throughout the sector's inhabited worlds, completely eradicating whatever was left of his mentor's empire and solidifying his control. As High Protector, Coteaz has thousands of followers in the Formosa sector of many different dispositions. Planetary governors, Underhive lords, Imperial Navy captains, they are all enthralled by the Lord Inquisitor's web of control. Unlike other Inquisitors that are required to requisition Imperial troops when the need presents itself, Coteaz was able to create his very own army that he can call upon whenever he required it. His base of operation is the inquisitorial fortress of Nemesis Tessera. At this point, it is not known how many of the Formosa sector's planetary defense forces are as much Coteaz's sworn men as they are those of their commanders, or how many hive gangs act under Coteaz's control, giving license to pursue their own petty activities so long as they act as his eyes. People disappear easily in Formosa, and its citizens know better than to ask any questions. At first glance, Coteaz's stranglehold would seem merely another cautionary tale concerning the temptations of absolute power, yet he doesn't seek to rule. The sector's planetary governors are still left to oversee their duties, largely without oversight or interference. The Inquisitor's network of informants exists only to provide warnings of any threat overtaking Formosa. It is one of the most efficient forms of protection. After all, in a sector where any gathering of 3 citizens contains at least 2 of Coteaz's informants, it is nearly impossible for a traitor to gather a following. Thus has Coteaz's domain prospered in an age when the Imperium is increasingly brought to ruin by the enemy within. Few other men could hope to replicate this success, for Coteaz is a man consumed by his chosen task. He seldom sleeps and spends every waking hour shifting through reports delivered by his cyber eagle, or personally leading his forces against demons, heretics, or aliens foolish enough to trespass in his realm. Lately, Coteaz has cast his pall of influence over worlds bordering the Formosa sector, bringing yet more planets under his protection. Yet even as his borders expand, Coteaz's worries grow. He is now an old man, and like all old men, he fears leaving his work undone without a successor to continue it. Of all the many acolytes the Inquisitor has cultivated, none have had the necessary drive or strength of will. Thusly, Coteaz has begun to search for a forgotten fragment of cloning lore and alien rejuvenation technology, any means of extending his life, or rather any means except one. The Inquisitor knows that the boon he seeks could easily be granted by a demon, should he summon and bind it according to a proper ritual. Part of him longs to embrace this evil, that it may firm up the foundation of his righteous work. It is a temptation that grows stronger with every passing day, but one that Coteaz had stoically resisted, at least for now. He's been able to distract himself from the temptation by pulling himself away from the Formosa sector on numerous occasions in recent times. First when he purged the demon host and killed demon prince Carpathi the Occult during the cleansing of Orpedia, a joint military campaign enacted with the Space Marine Exorcist chapter. He was then called to lead a strike force of Grey Knights against a demonic incursion in the Agrippina sector during the 13th Black Crusade. And as the Great Rift has made much of the Imperium vulnerable to the legions of chaos, Lord Inquisitor Torquemada Coteaz will continue to act as a high protector of his sector and purge the region of the demon filth. And those were 40 facts on the Inquisitor Torquemada Coteaz. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. So the name Torquemada comes from an actual Inquisitor from like the Roman Catholic Church that basically just killed a bunch of people because he thought that they were witches. He's part of the Spanish Inquisition, which is where the Inquisition lore comes from and stuff like that. So it's kind of cool that we get a name. It just kind of is messed up that there was an actual individual who basically tortured and killed a lot of innocent people just because he was given that power. I hope the Inquisitor Torquemada doesn't do that, or the fictional one. I hope he does only kill chaos worshippers and stuff like that. But yeah, that's out there. Thanks so much for listening, guys. If you guys have suggestions for other topics, let me know what they are in the comment section below. Thank our patrons on Patreon. It is because of them that we can do this. Link in the description if you guys want to support us. If not, there's also objective markers. You could support us that way. But yeah, simply by liking, commenting, and just interacting with us, you're helping out the channel. So thank you, guys. And I will talk to you tomorrow. This was Gershwin with One Mind Syndicate signing out.
Always used to put my freedom first in any situation.